welcome to TCB Morning Show Television. And today we are privileged and so very much honored to have a guest today. And I'd like to welcome him to our studios and of course ask him to introduce himself by his name, the country that he hails from, the area of specializations, as well as what he does. Karibu sana. Welcome to TCB Television.
Asante.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Well, my name is Samuele. My surname is Petrocchi. I'm Italian. I come from Italy. I'm here in TICA College for a mobility project called Overstep. And we experienced with my colleagues of different countries of Europe 2 weeks of teaching and observing the activities of the school. And it's been a privilege for us to share this time with you. My subjects are history and Italian language, literature, and I teach in the last years I teach for adult courses, evening courses, and I have also a few hours in jail in the courses that are organized for people that are in jail.
So apart from you being a teacher, you also have other activities that you do, that as you've talked about being in jail. What exactly do you do there?
Well, in jail the problem is that it's not really a situation that you can move with a freely willing, you know.
Yeah.
So I just went there and I'm teaching there to teach, and then the other activities are set by other associations, for example, theater, music courses. Trying to re-educate people that after a few months or years has to be reintroduced in the society.
Okay, now let's talk of Kenya. Ama, your visit to this great country of Kenya. Have you been to Kenya a while ago?
I haven't been my first time in Kenya. I haven't been here before.
Right.
But I spent 2 years in Ethiopia, so it's a country near here, in an Italian school in Addis Ababa, teaching also there, and I traveled around different countries of Africa, Madagascar, Tanzania, and Senegal, and in Maghreb countries like Morocco, Tunisia, and Egypt.
Aha.
I really love Africa.
You
and
love
Kenya
Africa?
is a really beautiful country.
Wow. What has impressed you? Being in Kenya, generally having met students in Kenya, and maybe you have also interacted. What can you say has impressed you a lot here?
I mean, you are really friendly people, and I got really comfortable since the first time I came here. So this is the first and positive impression I had. And then I must say that school is school everywhere, you know, with the lights and shadows of the school. Here in TICA College, I enjoyed to stay with students and to interact with them and to get experience about their lives in Kenyan society.
Mm-hmm.
That is, different as normal from other society like Italian one, but there are also some topics that are the same.
Okay, and what exactly is the have you heard out from the students? What have you learned from them? Because maybe from your schools and institutions that is in Italy, and comparing your students to our students. Are they varying at any course, at any point of their conduct?
Well, the learning process is the same as everywhere. Teaching that wants to transmit something to their students. Maybe the modality is different. For example, here, see, teacher, they write things in the blackboard, and student writing on the paper. You know, in Italy, for example, I'm used to share with the students directly the contents of my lessons, in order to have time to discuss about these contents in the time we are having at lesson, you know. And then I was pretty surprised in Vittorio's class because there was one student that asked me because I was putting question to them, you know. I was very surprised because for me, I mean, questioning is the core of the learning process. But I mean, maybe it was only the student was tired after 1 hour of my lesson. History and literature can be pretty boring.
Maybe in Italy and in Kenya, how long does a session take?
Well, it's almost the same. I mean, my lesson usually, a literature lesson is 2 hours, and history lessons it's usually 1 hour. So I got in each week 4 hours of language, Italian language and literature, and 2 hours of history.
So equally in Italy and in Kenya, the mode of maybe taking classes is likely the same.
Yeah, it's likely the same. I mean,
okay. Mr. Samuele, I know and I understand that this is not the first time, this is not the first group from the European Union to be sent to Kenya, and more so in Thika College of Banking and Accountancy. And also our teachers and our students also are also sent to the European countries for the same, for such an experience. Would you briefly tell us what impact does this process really incur?
In our experience, I mean, interacting with the teacher of different culture is always a great thing, you know.
Yeah.
But we still have to always to remember that the students are the heart of the learning process. So we can understand new things, we can share different methodologies of teaching, but just to transmit it to the students, you know.
Yeah.
Just to be useful for them. This is the first thing we don't have never to forget.
In the entire process, what activities did you carry out that you feel like you need to come back to Kenya for the same?
The activities in the school or the activities outside the school?
The activities both in school and outside the institution.
Okay. In the school with my colleagues, we have been. I was really happy to meet them and to work with them because it's not really simple to meet for the first time 4 teachers in a group from different countries with different language spoken, and to be you know to empathizing from each other and to have the will to bring and leave something here. So we try to first of all organize a project called TVET Tour, and that was finalized to have better knowledge for us and for the students too about Thika region. Since I mean here there's a tourist course that is really important, and with you guys journalist courses we went out, as you have seen, to make this reportage about the highlights of Thika.
Right.
It was really interesting. I mean, it was it's the best for me is to put in practice the theory we are learning at school, we are teaching at school. And then with my colleagues we realized a site that can be managed by you when we will not be here anymore. Yeah. And with all the articles you want to publish on it about Thika Tour, about more highlights of Thika region, about Kenyan society. For example, Mwalimi Isaac has already published an article about rage against women, violence against women. That is an important topic not only in Kenyan society but also in the European society.
So that means you have already created a website that will help the students that is in the institution to...
Yeah. The site is already online, and we want to populate it buy your content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding the outside activities, we went in. We had the chance to visit Masai Mara, beautiful region, to see wild animals, to get in touch with the Masai Mara culture, and to visit the forts and the areas around Tika.
Mr. Samuel, now, what's your most treasured moment now in Bika College and maybe in the entire country? Because you said that you visited Masai Mara. We have also had a tour in Bika town. What is your most treasured moment during all that mobility process?
The mobility process of the tour in Tika town.
Yeah.
Well, I think the most important, the most enjoyable moment was the one in Blue Post, in the place called Blue Post, where there are these two falls and these two rivers, Tika and Kanya River. They are joining together, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive to see the nature of Africa that is, bigger than in Europe. And to see how green is this region and full of opportunities for the industry. For example, we have visited also. We were supposed to visit, but we didn't do it. But there is Del Monte industry that is really rooted in this area. So it has been really beautiful to see, and also to see you students interacting with us and to have a time together outside the school, because sometimes the monotony lessons are always interesting, but sometimes to break the routine of the classes and the relationship between teacher and students is important in order to enrich the experience.
Right. Would you recommend an overstep? Will you recommend someone to such a mobility take?
Sure. I would recommend it because it's an experience that can reach people can push people to know other things, to go out of our comfort zone, And going out from comfort zone, is pushing you to experience things that you have to elaborate.
Right.
And elaborate new things brings you to, to be better and to develop.
Mr. Samuel, we all understand and know that the main duty of teachers in schools or in institutions is to grow students intellectually. How else, what is the purpose or the reason of teachers being there aside growing the students intellectually?
What are the purpose to make a job like a teacher? Yeah, you said. To grow people.
Aside, is there any other duty of a teacher?
Well, the duty of a teacher is to be available for students. So since the students want to, for example, understand better what has been taught in the class, teacher has to be available.
Yeah.
Teacher should empathize with student, because teaching is not a office job, because in an office job you stay in front of a computer and that's it, In teaching, every day you have to interact with human being, and every day for human being it can be different from another.
Right.
So you have to, you should have the perception of all the problems, all the the potentiality that are laying on every student.
Mr. Samuel, at least we are still trying to learn from the European teachers, also trying or getting to learn to know them more of what they do and what they doesn't do in their places. In your contributions to this mobility process, how do you think what you have done? How will you situate that your presence in Dika College of Banking has made an impact? For the last 2 weeks you've been here.
Well, I shouldn't I shouldn't tell you if I had an impact on the college. You should tell me. I mean, like a feedback. I would appreciate to have a feedback from you. But I think, I mean, we did the best to stay here and not be passive, and to well, it's difficult. It's always difficult when you get in a new situation to get inside it in just 2 weeks. You know, maybe now we were starting to know the school. Now it would start the great thing to do. But I mean, on Tuesday we are leaving, so there are only 2 weeks of mobility. But still, I think that we did the best, and I hope that your feedback will be positive regarding our job.
That's great and wonderful. But there is also this very big challenge or a problem that is there, and maybe not only in Kenya, or maybe also in other countries. We have so many young people who are learned, and for instance, in Thika College, there are so many students who are here, and after completion of their courses, they get outside there, you know, to hustle their job. But sadly, the job market is very poor.
Okay.
So we find so many young persons hanging out there, doing nothing, you know, bearing in mind already they have papers with them. How will you advise such students? As a teacher?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the most important thing is do not lose the will of knowledge. You know, if you have a degree, you don't have to think that it's taken for granted that automatically a job will come on you. You know, you still have to study. Never stop studying. Never stop the education process of ourselves. And if you get the will to get a job, you will get it.
Sadly, most of them lose heart immediately they get to the job market, and they find nowhere to get to. You find most of them get maybe into drugs. They get into things that they are not supposed to get into them, and most of them will end up maybe doing suicide, other things that will just make them live miserable in life. Well, I don't know whether that happens abroad.
Well, I think that school cannot solve all the problems of society, you know? I mean, is an important sector of the society, but by itself, school and teachers cannot solve all the problems of the society. Abroad, in Europe, there is still the same problem, you know, and all the different countries, they find a different solution. For example, in Germany, since you are in primary school, you are gonna take 2 roads, you know, the road of studying and of university, and the road of a practical job. You know, they start in Germany since the primary school, whereas in Italy it's different. You can after have been graduated, for example, in agriculture, you can go and study literature. I mean, it is not a problem. The problem is not the. It's also the matches between the job market and the student that go out from the school. But it's a problem that school by itself cannot solve without the aid of the state, without aid of the policy, without decision of people that are managing the state. I often listen that teaching is a mission. Yeah, I mean, I agree with this. But a mission doesn't mean that a state doesn't take part in this process, you know? Because a missionary is a person that sometimes is working by itself, you know, alone.
Yeah.
A teacher cannot be left alone by society and by politicians.
Okay, you know? Okay. Now, today we had our guest, Mr. Samuele, all the way from Italy, and we have listened to him and we have discussed a lot of issues pertaining his visit here in Kenya and Moso Masai Mara, where they have been, and also Thika College of Banking, where they have been for the last 2 weeks. Mr. Samuel, your parting shot as we end up our show today.
Okay. Never stop fighting, and never stop to want to enrich your knowledge.